All right. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to our brand new TravelJoy workshop for groups, a focused deep dive on how to build and manage groups in the TravelJoy platform. My name is Heather. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined in the audience by fellow Joy makers Alan, Caitlin, Chelsea, and Lenore, who will be helping monitor the chat and answer questions throughout the webinar. Speaking of questions, we welcome your questions and plan to answer some of them live at the end of this webinar. So make sure you put your questions in the questions tab, which is found in the bottom right corner of your screen. You will also see the team help answer some of these questions for you during the webinar. And a big thank you in advance to the Joy Makers for some of that assistance. Now, this webinar will move quickly, so please note that you will receive a recording of this session by email after its conclusion. You'll be able to pause, rewind, and rewatch the recording to really take in what we go over today and follow along with the recording to build your own group and group booking page. That replay will also include the chat and the questions tab, so you can access any resources shared during the session. Please feel free to remind any fellow agents you may see in the chat if they happen to ask if this is recorded. We want to make sure that you leave this webinar feeling confident and empowered to create your own group in TravelJoy. So along with the recording you'll receive of this webinar, please make sure you bookmark this link that I'm about to share in the chat. And you'll see that in just a moment. There you go. You should see that pop up now. Now, this link goes to the group's specific page of our TravelJoy Help Center, where you can find our guides and videos on majority of the topics that we're going to be covering today. This is a great place to reference if you feel like you may need to revisit any area for more details. But if you can't find the answer, you can always reach out to our team at hello@traveljoy.com or use the blue chat button in the bottom right corner of your TravelJoy account. Now, before we dive in, I want to zoom out for a moment and talk about what group management should feel like. With TravelJoy, groups are designed to be effortless and automated from the start. You can create a group booking page in just a few minutes and then let your travelers take it from there. Booking, paying, and completing everything they need in a simple self-service checkout flow. Behind the scenes, TravelJoy tracks payments, sends reminders, keeps communication organized, and gives you one place to message the entire group or individual travelers. And on the client side, everything looks polished and professional with itineraries they can easily access right from the TravelJoy app. The goal is simple: less manual work for you and a smoother experience for your clients. Now, I know you're all ready to get into the good stuff, so I'm going to switch my screen over to my demo account. Give me just a moment here. All right, I hope everybody is staying warm. I'm here in Michigan where it's pretty cold, so I hope you're all staying bundled up or enjoying the warm weather if you are somewhere sunny. All right, you should now see my demo account. Give me a thumbs up reaction or in the chat if you can see that, if everything is good. Perfect. I'm seeing some thumbs up, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so for today's webinar, let's say I have a client, Nicole, who already has an individual trip planned, and she already has an itinerary for her birthday trip to Costa Rica. But now she wants to invite all of her friends and family to go with her. So what do? We now have to turn this individual trip into a group with a group booking page and make this individual itinerary into a group itinerary. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to go back to the dashboard, and step one is creating the group. From the dashboard, we'll click the blue new button and select group. We're just going to name it something simple, Costa Rica for Nicole, and we'll skip some of these other steps for now and click create group. Step one is complete. That was what, about 30 seconds for the first step? All right, moving on to step two, we'll create the group itinerary. From within the group, you can use the blue create button and select group itinerary, or you can use this handy little shortcut to create the group itinerary. Now, if you're creating a group itinerary and you did not already have an individual itinerary prepared, that's okay. You can build your itinerary using the tools here and following the steps in the guide called Create a Group Itinerary. You can find it in the link that I shared earlier in the chat. That's in our Help Center. Now, however, for our example today, we're creating a group itinerary, and it's going to be just as easy as when we made that group, because remember, we already have that individual itinerary in Nicole's trip, and we just need to recreate it for the entire group. And we can do that using the library feature. So we're going to click this library button right here, and we're going to search the name of the itinerary we already have for Nicole, which we know was called the Costa Rica Birthday Adventure. And even just starting to type in the name, we can scroll down here and see past proposals. We see the name of Nicole's trip right here, Nicole's birthday in Costa Rica, the name of her proposal. So we'll click on this green button, start from this proposal. And by doing this, it's going to automatically load all of the content we already built for Nicole into this group itinerary in seconds, completely erasing the need for you to manually rebuild it. And now that we have all of this in here and it's automatically saved, as we can see up here, we're going to head back into the group by clicking over here on the left-hand side on the name of the group. So we have our group itinerary, and now we're going to move on to step 3, which is creating that group booking page. Now, this page is designed to be your itinerary, your inquiry page, your checkout counter, all in one automated step. It will also act as your automated assistant that up on payment reminders, and it can even send out tasks if you'd like. I promise it's not as scary as it seems, and it can be done in just a few minutes. So we're going to, again, within the group, click on this blue Create button and click on Group Booking Page Supplier. We're going to name it, again, something similar to the group, so we'll call it Costa Rica for Nicole. Now, you can either connect your group itinerary or write a custom description. If you use a custom description, it may take a little longer to customize this step, but in our example, we have a group itinerary. So we'll click here, and just like that, we're already done with this step, and we're ready to move on to the pricing tab. Now, on this page, we are building the details that's making the magic happen on the background of the group booking page. This first step here is traveler limits. This is the minimum and maximum number of travelers. And keep in mind, this is not the number of people who can book your trip in total, but only how many people can book a room together. So let's say, for example, I have a hotel that can only accommodate singles or couples in a room. So I'm going to keep my minimum to a number of 1 and set my maximum to 2. Next is the booking options for dates. Now, you have a couple of choices here. You can leave it at travelers sharing the same dates. You can change it to travelers booking between 2 date ranges that I set, or you can have travelers booking specific date ranges that you set. I'm going to leave it for my example that travelers are sharing the same dates. All right, next, we're moving on to packages. So for my group, we have only one package that we're offering. For you, it might be a little different. Packages are typically going to be the type of rooms or cabin options that you are offering for your travelers to book from. For my group, we only have one, and I'm just going to name it Hotel. Because I have a group itinerary connected, we're going to connect an item from the itinerary to this package. Now, keep in mind that you do have to have an item from your itinerary connected to each package. So if you have multiple packages you plan on offering to your clients, you will need multiple items on your group itinerary to match with each package you plan on offering. I only have one, so I only needed one item to match with my one package. I do have only 10 rooms that I can offer to my clients, so I'm going to offer 10 here for my limited quantity. They will have until June 1st, 2028 to book this package, and that's also going to be their final payment due date. Now, moving on to pricing. Each package that you create can have different occupancy pricing built into it and automatically calculated for you and the travelers when they select how many people they're booking for. So if a room at this hotel costs $3,000 total for the entire stay for one person, that's the price I'm going to put here for this single occupancy. But for two people, they told me that the price for the same room is going to be $4,000. I'm going to put here that it's $2,000 per person for the double occupancy, since that will equal $4,000 total. And we'll see how that math plays out in just a little bit when I show you a client checkout example. Lastly, we'll just put $100 as the deposit per person and save this package. Next, we have extra options. This is a great place to put any additional cost items like excursions or special swag bag gift items you might have for the event, but I don't have any for my group, so we'll skip this for now. Then we have payment details. This is where you'll see the payment settings, and this may appear differently depending on if you're using a supplier or a direct group booking page. And I won't get into those differences in this webinar, but you can learn more about that 2 weeks from today if you want to register for our payments workshop webinar. Anyway, deciding on some of these settings will come with answering some questions about your specific group. Do they need a specific payment schedule? Do you want to display a specific occupancy pricing? Do you want to offer them travel insurance offered by Faye and earn a 24% commission from TravelJoy? All of these questions are completely up to you and each group. And that's part of the beauty of group booking pages. It's customizable to you and your traveler's needs. And speaking of custom needs, my client Nicole told me that she wants to cover $50 off of the bookings for anyone who signs up in the next 7 days. So I'm going to enter a discount code here. Happy birthday, Nicole. And we'll put $50 here, and it's going to expire a week from today. Now that all of our pricing is done, we'll move on to the last page, which is traveler info. Here is where you're going to select a form template from your template library for the clients to fill out with their information. If you don't have a custom form for them to fill out, that's okay. I would recommend leaving this default form here just like I am. You can also add a task list template to automatically have loaded into those trips after they register. And I'll be getting more into templates like these in next week's workshop webinar if you want to register for that as well. But we're going to leave it like this for now. So we are finished and we are going to hit publish. So congratulations, you have just completed all of the upfront work needed. And the only thing you have left to do now is share the link with the primary traveler. This could be an individual traveler, a wedding coordinator. You could blast it on social media or wherever you need to send it to get this link in front of your travelers. Now we're going to get the link by clicking the 3 dots here and say get booking page link. And now let's take a look and see what it looks like from the client perspective when they go to book. All right. Now, again, we have that group itinerary connected. So we're going to see the perspective of that itinerary. If you had a custom description, you would see that instead. We're going to peruse through everything. It looks beautiful. I can now click book a package. I'm going to select that I have 2 travelers with me and I have 1 package to choose from. And look, we see that math that automatically happened here that we talked about earlier from that occupancy pricing, the $2,000 times 2 travelers, that gave us the total of $4,000. But wait, I have a discount code that Nicole gave me for her birthday trip. So I'll put in happy birthday, Nicole, and apply that for $50 off of my total. I'll click continue to traveler info. And this is the super exciting part of the webinar where you get to watch me enter in some fake information. Bear with me just a moment while I fill out these forms. And while you're waiting, go ahead and put in the chat what your favorite part of this webinar is so far, that you learned something new. I'd love to know. Look at this after the webinar. There we go. And we'll continue to paint. Now they're going to do their credit card authorization because we have a supplier group booking page. They can either authorize the deposit or authorize the full amount. We'll do deposit. And again, we're going to enter in a fake credit card here. So bear with me again and go ahead and continue entering in your favorite thing that you've learned so far on this webinar. Perfect. And then last, they're going to sign and agree to your terms and conditions. They can either type out their signature or draw it, and they will authorize and book. They will then get a confirmation page saying they booked. We'll go back into our group as the agent and refresh the page, and let's see what happens. So now we have a little drop down right here. I'm going to go back into the group messages so we can start fresh. We've got a drop down here for selected trip. So I'm going to go into this trip that was automatically created for our clients. We also have 2 client profiles that were automatically created for us. I'll go to the Files tab right here where those client forms are automatically saved for us with all of the details that were entered. We also have an invoice that was automatically generated for us. And if we go in there, we'll see that their deposit was automatically collected and authorized for us, along with their future payment that's to be collected on that final payment due date that we entered in. And if we go back into their trip, clicking up here, go to that Tasks tab, we can see that we automatically have a payment due reminder for that final payment due date that's scheduled to be sent out to them. All of that is done automatically for us. If we go back to the Messages tab of their trip, we can also see the copy of their itinerary is saved right here in their trip. And that's all automatically done the moment that they register on the group booking page. Now, I do want to make a quick note about the itinerary. So I'll click on here. And I wanted to point out visibility in the group itinerary. So visibility controls is who can see specific items in your group itinerary. So as travelers are booking through the group booking page that's connected, they'll automatically appear on the itinerary on the items that they're connected to. So this hotel that we have connected, we now see this little icon here. Quick zoom in. And when we click on it, we have that specific trip with the travelers connected to it as well. So by default, everything is going to be set with the visibility of everyone, but as they book and come in, it's going to add them to this specific connected item. But if there is ever something on your itinerary that you need visible to only specific trips, you can come into the group itinerary and adjust that visibility to those specific trips here. This is a great example to use for specific activities or excursions that are only for specific people, or even flights. If you want to add flight details for everybody in the group and add all of their flight details, you can adjust the visibility for those specific trips that those flight details are for. And recently, if you wanted to, or actually, if you want to dive deeper into this, we did have a recent short Moments of Joy video that our head of marketing, Matt, and our head of onboarding, Caitlin, recorded that explains this really well. So I'm going to drop that in the chat for you as well. Here we go. Perfect. There you go. You should be able to find that so you can learn more about the visibility there. All right, we are almost done with this. So going back into our group, I'm going to click up here. And we are going to head over to the group status tab. Now, on the group status tab, you can see what's best thought of as your control center for the entire group. From here, you get a quick high-level view of where everyone stands and easy access to the management tools for any changes that might be needed. Using the 3 dots next to a booking, you can click here and you can easily cancel a booking if needed, or you can click edit to easily swap a roommate if needed. You can change a package here, or you can adjust who's paying for who. If we close out of here and look at this payment status right here, I'll zoom in just a little bit so we can see that better. On this payment status, we can quickly see the status of everyone's payments, meaning we can look at how much they've paid so far. We can see what their invoice total is and how much is due. You can even see if a particular traveler is being paid for by another traveler. Zooming back out, we can look at a couple different views over here. So if we switch to the by room view, we can quickly see who's rooming together in a specific room. And if you look at the by package view, you get a quick snapshot of the inventory and the availability for each package type if you have multiple packages that you're offering. Now, I know that we moved pretty quickly through all of these steps today, and that was intentional. I wanted to give you a clear end-to-end view of how groups and group booking pages work so that we could leave plenty of time for your questions. And the main takeaway from everything that we covered today is that there's a small amount of setup, especially with group booking pages, that can unlock powerful automation. That automation can save you time, reduce manual work, and it creates a smoother, more professional experience for your travelers. TravelJoy is designed to help you manage group trips with less effort and more clarity so that you can focus on planning great trips and growing your business. So with that, I'm going to now transition over to the questions tab to take a look at some of your questions about groups and see what we can answer with the time that we have remaining. And I'm also going to grab a quick drink of water while I peruse that. So bear with me just a second while I catch up. I hope that was not too fast for you guys. So thank you. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for the whole team. It looks like we've got tons of questions that have been answered. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, I'm going to, let's see. Oh, this is a great question to start. Molly asked, how do I set up a group where there is $0 deposit? So this is actually a pretty common request. And right now, group booking pages does require a deposit to collect registration through it. Now, we have a couple of options for you to collect a group without collecting payments. There is a group registration form that you can use, basically going into your group and using the blue create button and doing a group form. There's a group registration form that will still collect registration, but it won't use the packages and it won't collect payment. But we do also have, the supplier option for group booking pages that is an authorization. But we also have a lot of agents that will still do the group booking page and collect a small deposit to utilize all of the function of the group booking page and the group management tools. And you can always adjust the invoices after everybody registers, so that you can make sure you're still using all of the management tools, getting everybody registered, taking advantage of the automations, connecting the itinerary, things like that. But excuse me, but we do appreciate the feedback. And like I said, that is a feature request and the team is definitely aware of this request. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Someone did ask, will this webinar be available after this session? Yes, you will receive a recording of this webinar, including all of the questions and the chat tab, so that you have all of the resources available to you afterwards. So you should get an email after the webinar concludes, roughly about 5 to 10 minutes afterwards. So you can look for that and watch it at any time. Someone asked to explain the difference of the direct and supplier in group booking, and I won't be getting into that today because that is a payments question, but in 2 weeks from today, we will be having a workshop webinar talking all about payments. So you can register for that or reach out to the team at hello@traveljoy.com or use the blue chat button in the bottom right corner of your TravelJoy account if you want to learn more about that. Let's see, I'm going to scroll through some more of these. Okay, here's one. What happens if you have one person who wants to double, but you don't have a person to match them? So there's a little bit of finesse that you can do, and it does depend how you want to set up your packages. What I would recommend for that is to make sure that you have packages set up with single and double occupancy pricing, to make sure that you do have somebody register and giving them the double occupancy pricing. And then you can set them up with a roommate after they register. So you can, let me go into here, the group status tab. So let's say we have somebody else register on the group booking page here and you want to make them a roommate into this room. What you would do is you would go into the three dots here, click the edit button, and then you're going to select the room drop down. And this new person who is going to be their roommate, you would then move them into the room of that new roommate on here. And it's going to automatically adjust their occupancy pricing. It'll adjust the invoice actually for both of the roommates. It'll make sure that the inventory is adjusted so that it's going to be the same room. It's not going to take up two different rooms. And then you can adjust the trips if you want them in the same trip or separated trips, completely up to you and how you want to manage those messages between the two travelers. All right, I'm going to keep perusing through because there's tons of great questions in here and tons that the Joy Makers have already answered. So bear with me while I look for some good ones that we already review. Let's see. Okay, discount codes. Somebody asked discount codes to revisit that. So I'll just pull that up again really quickly. So I'll go back into the group booking page, and that's going to be on the pricing tab down at the very bottom under discount codes. So we have had discount codes, but this recently got a facelift. So you can add discount codes here, and you can make your own discount code if either your traveler or travels to create it or you create it. You can have a fixed dollar amount or enter a percentage and enter it in here and have an expiration date and have that saved. So that way, when your clients are checking out, as they go through the booking page, they can enter it in and, of course, have that amount discounted either by percentage or dollar amount when they're in the checkout process. Now, it is important to know that when you're creating these discount codes, that the dollar amount or the percentage must be less than what their total balance will be remaining after their deposit, or else it won't be able to calculate or apply correctly. So, if this total package price was, let's say, $4,000, and if the discount code made it so the total balance was less than that, then the discount code wouldn't be able to work appropriately. So just keep that in mind when you're making the discount codes. But I do see that Chelsea shared a guide on that as well. So make sure to check that out. Yes, you can have more than one discount code on there. And that's a great question too, because some people like to put out their group booking pages and promote it and do, let's say, a super early bird special, a Black Friday special, a specific birthday special, a friends and family special, a returning customer special. So you can put different discount codes on your group booking pages if you like to promote certain group travels, just for you and your own promotional travels. Let's see. We've got just about a minute left. So let's see if I can get one more in here. Deborah asked on here that she also likes to learn from reading and written instructions. So is there anything with that? Yes, it might be buried in the chat now, but earlier on in the webinar, I did put a link in the chat that links you into our help center. There's a specific page that's all about groups. So there's tons of articles in there all about groups and everything we talked about. There are guides in there that are written out. There's also videos in there as well, and you will receive a recording of today's webinar. So that's a great resource to reference. And like I said, in the recording that you're going to get emailed today, you'll also have access to the chat where you'll get that link again, but make sure you find that link and bookmark it because that's where you can find all of the guides that reference the topics from today. All right. I believe that is all of the time that we have together today. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending our very first workshop webinar. We really appreciate it. We'll be doing this nearly every Thursday, aside from any holiday, and these will be rotating topics, and it is brand new. So if you do have any feedback for how the webinar was run, please feel free to let us know. We are absolutely open to feedback. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your questions. We truly appreciate it. Let us know if you have any additional questions. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your Thursday. Take care.